Well, good afternoon if you are in Australia on the East Coast. It's Tommy G here and Mr. Adrian Hanks, my partner in the Corporate Alchemist project. And how has the week been for you, Mr. Hanks?
Full.
Full.
Yeah, I can say it's been a full Move It Monday.
Move It
It's
Monday.
not stopped.
It's not stopped. You've been moving it all week and every day.
We've been moving all week, but it's been positive.
Oh my God.
Lots
right.
of great meetings.
Right.
My charity, the Blue Wren Foundation,
Yep.
is taking flight again.
Oh,
Had
right.
some amazing
The Blue Wren
meetings
is
this
flying.
week. Blue Wren's back on track.
Right.
And, after sort of an 18-month resting in the nest,
Rest in the nest.
I feel like we've come back out again and we're flying. So it's
Oh,
been really
wow.
exciting.
Oh, very
So,
cool.
back into that space of working with the men in relationship education.
Right.
And yes, that's been really flying. Of
Okay.
course, Corporate Alchemist hasn't stopped because we've been doing the filming.
Yes,
editing,
I know you've been doing a fair bit of work there, I must say, and
Yeah,
sort of
we have.
driving, getting our cameraman who recorded it, sort of organised on this and getting it to where we want it to be. Right, it's going to be a classy, high-level product because we know a lot of discerning executives out there.
Absolutely.
That will be looking to extract a copious amount of value out of the program.
Yeah,
So we're working
and
on
hopefully that video series, Tommy, will help to shift some mindset, bring some physical, emotional, mental, spiritual changes in people's lives.
Right.
And what I love about what we've done, it's not talking at. You know, the old model, the videos there, the cameras in the face.
Here's how you do it. Right.
And
listen to me and do this.
And it's very much like this.
It's like this. It's conversational.
But it's educational and
Yes.
entertaining. But the gems I feel in there for learning, I think we've, personally, I feel like we've hit it on the head. But we'll see.
Oh, the baby, delivering the baby.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Right, our love child is about to be born. But talking about mindset.
Yes,
as
favorite topic.
Favorite topic, right? We are at the end of what's been, I would say the most interesting year I can remember in my life. And after being here for more than half a century and your good self, right? Wow, hasn't the planet flipped on its head, affecting a lot of mindset vulnerabilities. And so as we move into 2021 and how mindset is going to play a significant part in how we're going to interpret our world, how do we use our mindset moving forward? What is it we need to do to prepare ourselves for? And how can we take opportunity in a massive amount of change?
Yeah, it's a huge question. I've had a couple of meetings this morning, Tommy, talking to a couple of key people. I was actually talking to a man this morning who was an ex-policeman.
Right.
So he's been watching things unfold from, different space.
Right.
Been talking to somebody else today who's in the suicide prevention space.
Right.
So I've had some deep meaningfuls today.
Yeah, right.
And it's really brought me out to this idea that if we don't get that mindset right, if we don't get the focus right, if we get back into that old story, get into the fears, get into the doubts, and get stuck in that old paradigm, nothing's going to shift.
Right.
And it's about how do we create a new way forward?
Right.
How do we trust the leaders coming forward is one.
Right.
So the mindset of trust is a huge one.
Oh, it is right now.
Yeah, it's a huge one.
Who do you trust? What do you trust?
The other thing is, how does one trust one's intuition is the other question. Because there's people out there, and I'm sure, from the conversations I've had, what I hear is something doesn't feel right.
Right.
Something has to shift. Something has to change. Now, what that change is, for many people, they don't know what that change is yet. So they're going to have to either create it or trust the new leadership for the new paradigm.
Right.
Any trust in a new way forward. And, through history of mankind, we've had moments of change. We've had moments of shifting. This is one of those moments. This will go down in history.
Yeah.
In 100 years' time, they're going to look back at this year or this sort of period as one of the biggest shifts in consciousness on the planet.
Right.
That's my call.
Yeah.
Because it is this moment of opportunity right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some of us get excited.
Yep.
Some of us, a lot of us get scared, right? And you've got to be kind of half psychotic like you and I are to get excited about this sort of stuff, right? Because we like change.
Yeah.
We like new paradigms. We like being on the leading edge. Yeah. And we like to see how, not only ourselves, but those that we touch, whether it's in business, family, can help lead those through and take opportunity with the change, because that's all it is. It's a change.
It's a change. It's
So
a shift.
it looks a bit unpredictable.
Yeah, it's a shift.
It's a shift, right?
It's like buying a new pair of shoes.
Yep.
You've got to throw those old pair away, which is
Right.
really hard.
You got used to them, and they fit around your foot nice,
and they're tight. You get blisters
in the beginning,
Yeah.
right?
But then, after 6 months,
You're going, whoa, these are awesome.
don't want to take them off again.
Right, yeah.
I remember being in Copenhagen,
Right.
with my wife about 3 years ago,
Right,
and I had my favorite walking shoes on,
right,
and I can't remember, something ripped on them, and they were not wearable anymore.
right.
So I went into a shoe shop in Copenhagen and tried a few pairs of shoes on, and like, yeah.
Right.
And I remember, delicately throwing these old pair of shoes in the bin. It was an emotional
Oh my
attachment to
God.
let go of this pair
Yeah.
of shoes I had for a couple of years.
Right.
Were the most comfortable.
Right.
So then I bought these beautiful brown sort of hush puppy shoes in Copenhagen and got
Right.
used to those. And after, 18 months, I had to throw them away. It's like, oh.
Right.
So I sort of got emotionally attached to the
Yeah.
comfort.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We get attached to the comfort.
Right.
And when we
Yeah.
get attached to comfort, it's a bit dangerous.
Well, attached to anything, right?
Yeah.
Anything that
Yeah.
feels comfortable,
Yeah.
you've got to be careful.
Yeah. So now the detachment, Tommy.
Right.
So I want to talk about detachment
Perfect.
and mindset.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
how do we detach from the old?
Yep.
Yeah, the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And what's
The treadmill of the
comfortable,
old.
and what's normal, and maybe it's not too challenging.
Right.
And then we're going to step into this new paradigm, that the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
the blackness. We spoke about before.
The blackness.
So to prepare oneself, Tommy, in that space is, I was working with somebody yesterday in this space saying, what we need to do
Yeah.
is find that meditative mindset.
Yeah.
Let's call it mindfulness.
Right.
Yeah, because that's like the language used in the business corporate spaces. Getting into mindfulness.
Yeah.
And being mindful
Yeah.
of how we feel.
Right.
Being mindful of what's going on in the mind.
So what does mindful mean?
Mindful being being present and aware.
Present and
When
aware.
one is in mindfulness,
Right.
it means I am aware of what's going on in my mind,
And you're thinking.
in my feelings,
Right.
and in my actions.
So you're kind of like, there's this
We become the
second
observer.
being that's like the observer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're feeling certain things, saying, I might feel like crap right now. I'm not feeling good. And I know I'm doing this thing that I always do. I get triggered on this particular thing. Here I am in this emotional state again.
Yeah.
So that's the observer.
That's the observer.
That's an awareness thing.
Yeah, so that's, let's call it higher consciousness.
Higher consciousness.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the usual sort of term people use.
Right.
So we have a higher consciousness that is aware of this 3D being that sort of moves
Right.
around on the planet.
Right.
And when we tune into that other higher awareness
Yeah.
and become conscious of that,
Yeah.
then we can tune into what I call that choice maker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that higher consciousness being still in the 3D world, or are they somewhere else?
It's separated to some
It's
degree,
separated,
where we
right.
can say it's the because the
fourth
3D.
dimension?
I can tap my 3D being.
Right. So here's the
So-
matter part.
Yep. So then when we tap into that untangible, we spoke about
Right.
this last week.
Yeah.
That untangible aspect of our being,
Right.
which is the mind, not the brain.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the one that is a little bit unknown.
Right.
Yeah. It's
So it's
like,
a bit of the software. So it's not
Yeah.
the matter of the brain.
No.
It's the current program that's in there.
yeah. It's the one that can create the new program.
Right. So that's higher than.
because usually this program is already set.
Right.
Automatic.
Yeah. A lot of
Eat,
autonomous
drink,
stuff.
all the stuff we learn.
Yeah.
But when we have to change, we have to come out of automation.
Right.
And the analogy I
Right.
use,
Right.
we have to, and I'll give you an example, Tommy, is if I'm living on the Gold Coast, I've
Yep.
been here for a while, I
Yep.
drive in automatic.
Right.
Just in the space, I'm not really present, just
Right.
really, I can do it in automate.
Yep.
Because I know the streets, I know where I'm going.
Yep.
Now, if I go into Sydney,
Yep.
I've never been to Sydney before, suddenly I have to be super conscious
Right.
and I'm aware of every turn.
Right.
So there's a difference. So when we become present to ourselves
Yeah.
and aware of ourselves,
Yeah.
and we bring in that mindfulness, that awareness, then we can say to ourselves, where am I needing to make change?
Yep.
And where can I recognize where I need to make change?
Right.
And how can I recognize the fear of changing?
Right.
And in that moment, I can say, I can make a conscious choice to make a change.
Right.
But to make a change, one usually has to face the fear, face the doubts, face the unknown,
Right.
and that's scary.
Yeah.
So the first thing we have to do is find that courage.
Yep.
Yeah. And where do we find courage? Well, we find it within by taking action.
Right.
So the first thing is, let's take some baby steps.
Yep.
And the first thing would be to, I would suggest, start a meditative practice.
Yep.
Learn to be aware of oneself.
Right.
Yeah, do some support with a coach.
Yeah.
With a meditation teacher, with somebody who can help with that mindset.
Right.
Because we have to learn to turn it off.
Yeah. Right.
Got to switch off the white noise. Got to switch off the chattering monkeys.
Yeah.
And we have to get to that place where we say, I'm aware of myself.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of what's needed in my business, in my company, with my staff, with the organization, to move into that new paradigm.
Right.
And that mostly is around trusting oneself, trusting the intuition, and trusting the new vision one has.
Right.
Like you and I, we've created the CAP.
Yeah.
It's a totally new vision.
Yeah.
It hasn't really been done before. There are elements I have.
Yeah.
But there are elements I haven't.
Right.
We've had to go in gut.
Yeah.
Often say we get the
goosebumps.
The goosebumps.
Yeah.
Trusting that electricity.
Right. Yeah.
And that's when you're on track.
Yeah.
So we have to tune in beyond normal left brain. Rational thinking.
Right. I mean, and I look at myself having brought up in very much a left brain weighted part of the world called business, right? Where it has been. And for me, and I get the goosebumps and I get the feels on certain things and not having trusted that anywhere near as much as I should have.
Yeah.
And I'll get it today and I go, I'm feeling this, but my brain's kind of maybe saying this.
Yeah, don't go there. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Exactly.
The unknown.
Right? Yeah. Or you don't have any math on that.
Yeah.
How can you make a decision without any data?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I'm going, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, screw it. I'm feeling it. Run with it. Let's see what happens. I'm sure my brain will be able to sort it out otherwise.
Yeah.
But going there is scary.
Yeah.
But I'm going, no, I'm going to take this personal risk and do this and see what happens.
Yeah. And I think, because we're going to cut this short today.
Yeah, we are.
Because what I want to do, I want to leave the listeners, the viewers, with this task, with this challenge, to do the mindfulness process to learn meditation. Now, if you need support on that, call me.
Yep.
And I'm happy to, run a webinar, run something to get that mindset happening.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge out there.
Right.
If it's not me, find somebody else.
Yep.
Even, Google it, search, you get Dr. Google to take you on. We're going to do some research on mindfulness and then get a teacher.
Right.
That's what I'm throw out today.
Okay.
Tommy G, they can connect with you really quickly at
Let's Connect at TommyGallant.com or Tommy Gallant at the Corporate Alchemist Project.
Fantastic. And for me, adrianhanks.com, social media and website. We're going to cut this loose because we have a very important meeting.
Right. And Adrian at the CorporateAlchemistProject.com as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we'll catch you very, very soon.
Okay. Bye.